All right, welcome everybody. This is the Hot Top 10 Show, CBSI Hot Top 10. This is January 3rd, 2020. I got Brian McClay over here, I guess, and I got Ben S over this way. So, boys, we're gonna do the top 10. This is gonna be fire. This list is on point this week.
So. Yeah, great list.
Are we just gonna jump right in?
I say we do it. Let's do it.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Anybody who's watching right now, and we'll go ahead and kick it off on the honorable mentions. And this is a crazy cover from the Golden Age. You got Mysterious Adventures number 21. I do not the cover is uncredited for the cover art, so I'm not sure exactly who the cover artist is. But it's pretty crazy, crazy cover there. A 4.0 just sold for $700, which is more than a 6.5 sold for last year. So I guess not last year now. It's not 2020, so I guess in 2018. So that's no longer last year. But tough book to find. I just pretty much at this point, I give up on what to say about any of these Golden Age. Just if it's got a good cover, just try and buy one. Try and buy something at this point.
I mean, and people don't realize. I mean, Story Comics is. It's 54. It's a 54 comic. It's Stories Comics. It's a bondage cover. It's got it's got the pre-code horror kind of feel to it too. I mean, there's only 28 on the census. I mean,
that's low. I mean, when you think about books of modern books that have 1,000 9/8s. And they've only got 28 of these grades. I mean, that's absurdly low.
And the crazier part, Ben, is I always talk about this with Golden Age. I always say 9.0 and above. I mean, 8.0 probably is more respected at like a high grade for a 50s book. There's 1.90 and 1.94
of this
book in 54. I mean, it blows my mind because all the history of wherever that book came from the 50s on. I mean. News from it wasn't even like it was like pristine and at the news racks, and I don't think there was even bags and boards back then. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to have a 9.0 or a 9.4
those are probably Gaines file copies, is my guess.
Yeah, I'm sure it got to be something.
But which at some point I'm going to buy me one just to have it doesn't even necessarily matter what it is, just to have have a piece of history.
Yeah, definitely.
But all right, second honorable mention this week is from the Silver Age. We got Silver Surfer number 3. This was a Stan Lee written book. John Buscema artist. First Mephisto. I guess there's just a lot of buzz right now with this Marvel horror stuff, and I guess people are thinking that this is going to show up in either. I've been hearing rumblings of Moon Knight being horror.
Yep. Dracula.
Yeah. So I mean, you got a lot of things here, kind of going all over the place. But I think there's definitely, some major possibilities with some of these Marvel horror characters.
We're also seeing a lot of books in the cosmic realm, the whole Thor Silver Surfer realm, I imagine, because of the Thor book that dropped this week, which was pretty damn awesome. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's got some spec behind it that's causing some of these books to jump up.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, kind of this one especially in low grades, I was noticing that most of the high grades have not really sold recently. There's not been a lot of sales. But the low grades are all kind of hitting. They're all kind of on the up and up. So that's usually what, when it comes to honorable mentions, that's usually what I throw in here is something that.
That's what I got a low grade.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's ready to pop.
Well, and this book's been on the top 10 list a couple of times too. Silver Surfer 3, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a key that everybody kind of, but that character just kind of. It's just. I think horror in general is just there's so many characters that they could use, not even just in Marvel, but in DC as well. And I I think there's a nice slant to that, especially when I saw like the New Mutants new trailer is going to be coming out here in a couple of days, and it's definitely going to be that horror. So if that movie, even though it's been shelved for 3 years now, if it does well, I could seriously see a lot more of these horror books, do well.
Plus, I think a lot of people are realizing a little late to the game that this Silver Surfer run is a great run to spec on. But unfortunately, a lot of people have been specking on it for years. So
yeah, there's definitely not a shortage of these out there.
Well, and I mean, it's going to be interesting with the popular characters like Dracula, like Tomb of Dracula #1, or like, I mean, stuff like that. Like everybody went after 10, right, for Blade, but one, a lot of people. I mean, I think these books they're going to get a bump, but I mean, it's not like going to be a crazy bump, I don't think. But I mean, it's not like it's going to go down, and they're still key books. I mean,
right.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to actually jump into the list here at number 10 this week. We got Stormbreaker, the Saga of Beta Ray Bill, #1. I'm not real familiar with this. This is, this was written by Michael A. Von Oming. Artist was Andrea DeVito. I know there's a first appearance in this book. And I know that this is not the easiest of books to find from what I'm hearing from other people. This came out when I was still on my comic hiatus, so I was not around when this actually came out.
This is 2005, I believe.
Yeah, so I was so like from like 2000 to 2010 I was out.
Yep.
So I did not really follow much of anything during that time, but this jump from $5 to $10 to $20 plus, and currently as of the writing, there was only one copy available on eBay. So must not be that easy to find.
Well, I wouldn't say probably not easy to find, and plus it's a hard 9.8 to get because it's so the colors are. I mean, it's a black cover theoretically. But the key comments in here is there's a Galactus appearance in this book. I don't know if you knew that, Ben. There's a Galactus appearance. 8 9/8 only, 4 9/6, 12 universal graded. So,
and again, I think this goes back to that Thor issue for this week. If you haven't read it, it's got some pretty cool Galactus stuff in it, and I think it's going to be a really good series. Not only to spec on for being obviously a Donny Cates book. We're going to have a lot of spec coming out of that series, but it looks to be a really good series to read. So that's that. But real quick, FlipSide fact that I know I've talked about on FlipSide before. For those of you guys that might be a Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell fan, Michael A. Von Emming is the famous voice of the Area 51 caller. And that was a hoax, and he has verified that a few years ago. So
I did not know that.
He is, yes. Michael A. Von Emming is the famous Area 51 caller.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Blew me away when I heard it. It was pretty cool to hear him talk about that. He actually redid the voice on a Jimmy Church radio show. But that's, again, is a FlipSide fact. So
interesting. I like that. Way to get that in there, Brian.
Yeah.
All right. Coming in at number 9 this week is Harley Quinn Villain of the Year #1. This is the Natalie Sanders KRS variant. There are 1,500 of these. These were pre-sold at KRS for $25, and they are now selling for $40 to $50. This is actually the trade dress is selling for more than the Virgin.
I like this cover, dude. This is my cover of the week, dude.
Yeah, beautiful. It's pretty slick. But yeah, it's selling for more than the Virgin variant, which is only numbered at, or I guess it's only $750. So it's half the print run, but these are selling, and I think it's just where it kind of looks like that magazine cover, and I think everybody just likes it.
Oh yeah, it's got that magazine swipe. It's got that Harley trade dress, but I think Natalie Sanders is underrated too. I mean, she does super realistic covers, and they're always good. I mean, if you're not a super realistic fan, I mean, if you're not a super realistic fan, that's probably not your genre. But you're up there with the best right there. I mean, I don't know if I'd put her up with Alex Ross, but she's up there. It might be 1-2 or something like that, but she's definitely up there.
Yeah. And like you said, Ben, and Doc Joe is saying, I think this is an amazing example of when a virgin variant is not as good as the trade dress. I hope that what Joe says is true. I'm kind of getting tired of the virgin variant myself. So.
Well, and I think that they're good if they're just kind of standalone. Like the DCB covers are okay because there's not another version of those.
Right.
But if they're just taking just the trade dress off of a cover that's already out there, that it kind of loses its pizzazz.
Yep. Adam Lebenek, don't be hating on my girl, man.
Hey, that's her. She uses herself as the muse, right?
That's amazing. If that's true,
I think she uses herself as her model. Face.
Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah.
And what's funny is, hey, I mean, is she the only one who does that? Let's go to Campbell. Let's go.
I know. Campbell married his muse, right? On to my favorite book of the week.
All right, Brian's favorite book of the week, number 8. We got Psylocke number 1. This is the second print variant. It's much
cover, dude. Dope.
Yeah, this is a wraparound on the second print. This was selling for about 60 to 70 back in the fall. I did get confirmation that from somebody in the comicbookinvest.com comments that I had it listed as a $90 sale. It didn't show up as a best offer, but he said he actually sold it for $80. But it was only a VF Plus copy, so it was not in great condition. And then, boom, another copy sold this week for $175.
Raw.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, this has turned into like the what is it the oh gosh, I'm drawing a complete blank, but it's like the Spider-Man second print with anti-venom.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever that is. I mean,
Amazing Spider-Man 569, I think.
I can't remember the number, but
569. Yep.
But yeah, this one's a pretty, as a wraparound, it's pretty cool. You definitely lose a lot of the visual when it's folded over, but I still wish that CGC would somehow figure out a case where they could flatten the book and show the whole thing. But
what's funny about this book? I know it's Harvey. Is it Talibo? I don't know how to pronounce that last part. It kind of looks like Mark Brooks to me, doesn't it?
Yes.
Got that Mark Brooks feel, kind of. If you wouldn't have told me the artist, I would have guessed it was Mark Brooks.
Yeah, and this is I'm assuming, because I don't have any of these Psylocke books, but I'm assuming this is kind of like what they did with a lot of those second prints, and this was just interior art, so it's probably like the centerfold, and they just take that and then just make it the cover.
You know what's funny on the comments on CGC? You know who they give the cover credit to? David Finch.
Well, because didn't he do the regular covers for that?
Yes. Finch did the first prints.
Okay. Because on the second, and then what's funny? A lot of people actually graded these. I'm not surprised, but it was 14. Yeah, there's 26 total, 14 9/8, 6 9/6s. So.
And they're all mislabeled.
I don't know if they're gonna be mislabeled or not. I just saw it that's what the comments say. So I mean, I don't know if they're gonna. It says second printing, so maybe that's not. Maybe they fixed it in the second printing run.
So, very nice.
Yep. All right, number 7. This is a repeat from what, 6 months ago, 7 months ago.
Yeah. Oh, your book. Yeah.
Yeah, a while ago. It's a Cantu number 1, written by David Boer and drawn by Drew Zucker. Back when it first came out, this was super hot. It was jumped up to like $25, $30. It kind of fell back to $10 to $15 for quite a while, and then this week it's back to $40 to $50. 9/8s are back up to $250 plus, which is it's, to be honest, for moderns, I usually use a multiplier of what a 9/8 should be just on a regular book, unless it's a really hard 9/8. It should be about 2.5, 3x.
It's not a hard 9.8. There's 34.
Yeah, so I'm a little surprised that either one, the raws are as low as they are, or 9.8s are as high as they are. Somewhere there should be a correction somewhere in there. 250 9.8 should be about an $80 raw. So either the raws are too low or the 9.8s are too high.
The 9.8s are too high, and I would say the second part of that, it would be the real winners are going to be the retailer incentive editions, because there's only 8 of them at 9.8, and there's only 17 graded. So.
And I love books like this that come out of nowhere, and the art and the story are so different. That there is real energy behind it, and it's not manufactured by the speculative market. So I could see this. I've heard a lot of people say that this is a good read, like Adam says, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see this on some type of screen.
Yeah, and IDW puts out a really good product. They put out solid books.
Yeah.
So I would never complain about what IDW puts out, because then it's just a quality product. So
yeah, very cool.
All right, number 6, got Angela, Asgard's Assassin, number 1. This was written by Kieran Gillen. Artists are Phil Jimenez, Stephanie Hans. This is the first appearance of Sierra, which apparently there's some talk this week of Marvel bringing transgender to whatever. I don't know if it's to the screen or just promoting it, or what they're trying to do with it. And so I guess people are just kind of assuming that it's going to be the Sierra character, and this is her first appearance in here.
And for being a dark book, there's a lot of dark books there. I mean, it's a pretty dark cover, and the spine's pretty dark, about 3/4 of the book. 41 9/8, man. I'm surprised. I mean, it's from 2015. I mean, but still.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, so I checked sales on this for the last 3 months, and there were very few sales up until this week. Most of them were right around cover price. And then all of a sudden there's a ton of sales in the last 2 or 3 days. I don't remember, this week. Mm-hmm. A bunch of sales, up $10 plus. So I saw a couple of the 1 in 100 variants had sold. I did not see, I think there's a 1 in 50.
Is it the Casada 1 in 50?
Is that what it is? I did not see any of those for either for sale or sold. So, so that one may be a little bit more tough. I'm not sure why there was. I mean, nobody really likes those character design. The 1 in 100 is the character design.
This is a Hans cover, right?
I would assume it kind of looks like it, but I can't.
Just so everybody knows.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a Hans, there's a Jimenez variant, like a Sada variant, and then another listing it says variant, which that could be the 1 in 100, I think.
That's the character design variant, but yeah, it says SH, so I'm assuming that's the Hans cover. It looks like Hans, but yeah. So, anyways, you may be able to still find this in a back issue bin somewhere. So, if you can find it, great. Maybe just something to hold on to.
Yep.
All right, number 5. And we're back to Star Wars. Got Star Wars Rise of Kylo Ren, number 1. This is just a regular A cover.
Great cover, though.
It is. It's a badass cover, man.
It's Crane, right? It's Clayton Crane.
Yep.
It is gorgeous. This is all of a sudden now a $20 to $25 book. What was it?
Variant.
The 1 in 25 variant was on our list before. 2 weeks ago, before Christmas, before we did the year-end show or the year-end list. And this one has at the time, I think this is only this is only selling for like $5. Now it's like I said, 2025. The B cover, which is the action figure variant. Yep. It's selling for $20-$25. The 1 in 10 is, I think, selling for $30 now, and that 1 in 25, I think, is now busting $60 plus. which is higher than it was before as well. So
I like the red eyes on the Vader. Kind of harkens back to the original Marvel comics with the Vader. The Vader, I forget which cover that is, but with Vader has the red eyes. Kind of a cool little touch.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to ruin this book by having Clayton Crane sign it. And you know he's going to do it in red, and it's going to be across the helmet of Darth Vader. I mean,
yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, I mean, it'd be hard to see the signature.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what color, unless he uses like a silver paint pen or something like that.
Even with silver.
He's going to do it right in the white of that dome, kind of. At least probably put it in there or something.
It's going to be tough to see.
Yeah.
Or beautiful
that red spot in the right corner there, the right lower corner, and puts it in black maybe.
Sign it really small right down the lightsaber.
You know what's funny? When I was in North Carolina and Charlotte, Clayton Crane was there, and it was cool. He would do anything. He saw it all the new. That's the first time I saw the multicolor signature. What he does now all the time that everybody loves, but he'll do anything. He used to do them in, like, he'll do Clayton Crane over 5 connecting covers. He'll do whatever, he got to practice it out, but he'll do it. I wouldn't be surprised if you asked that, Ben, he would probably do it in the lightsaber.
that would be kind of cool. I guess.
Lightsaber. He's a good guy, the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. He is a very good guy. So very cool. I think this is way better than the variant. I might have to go buy this cover. This is badass.
It is pretty cool. I probably should have. Well, of course, I haven't been to a local store on a Wednesday, and I can't remember the last time, so I would have never thought to pick it up. But if I would have seen it, I probably would have just went ahead and picked it up just because of the cover.
Yeah, very cool.
All right, number 4 this week is another repeat from several months ago.
Yeah. That's when The Witcher was announced, probably on Netflix.
Probably. Anyway, Witcher number 1. It's by Paul Tobin. Joe Carrio, I guess that's probably how you pronounce his last name. This is kind of fallen back to the $20-$25 range before Christmas. The show dropped on the 20th of December, and I haven't seen the show yet. I keep meaning to see it, but a lot of I know it didn't get like super high on Rotten Tomatoes.
That doesn't matter.
But I did hear that there were several people that were saying it's the next Game of Thrones.
It is the next Game of Thrones. Don't watch it with your kids. There's a ton of nudity in there. It's basically Game of Thrones, but that's what the Witcher series and video games. I didn't play it, all of them. I started playing 3, and 3 in the beginning is a little boring, and then it picks up. But it's Henry Cavill by far kills it, destroys it. He's a super fan. He's played all the games. He's read all the books. He's probably the most knowledgeable when it comes to the Witcher universe. Guy's a beast, man.
Yeah, a lot of people I've heard and I've read saying that this performance in The Witcher really shows that he needs to continue on as Superman. So that's pretty cool.
And I read Netflix just released the top streaming things of this year or past year. Stranger Things 3. There was another thing I can't remember in The Witcher. What the top streaming things of that year.
Interesting. So anyway, basically that's kind of pushed. That's kind of doubled this book back up to $50 plus, 9/8 $200. So it's definitely moving now. There is a video game
variant.
It's not a variant. It came out like 2 or 3 years before this. That was, I guess, strictly for the video game.
Kind of like that Resident Evil book that.
But it was like a GameStop book, was it?
Yeah, I think it was a GameStop book.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So I didn't know about it. Tim Walker was telling me about it, and I guess I don't remember if it was him or somebody else that basically kind of said the author of this will not acknowledge it as canon. Since he didn't write it. So
I'll tell you the cool auto, and it's going to cost you a buttload, but if you get Henry Cavill to sign it, you get a 9/8. It's going to be skyrocket, man.
Yeah, big money. Big money.
I mean, it's probably going to set you back $250 to $500 to get him signed it, I bet you, but
Yeah. Well, I have to say that I know this next book is Ben's favorite on the list.
Let's go.
Yeah. Here we go.
I got a stack of these boys.
Oh gosh! All right, number three.
I don't have it.
All right, number 3 this week is Detective Comics Batman 80th Anniversary Giant from Walmart.
I saw these in Walmart, and I was like, and it's funny. The wife's like, "Is this any good?" I'm like, "I put that shit back on the shelf."
All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and rant, and then you guys can do whatever you want to with it. And I really, whether you care about my rant or don't care about my rant, I don't really care. All right, so this came out back in the summer?
Yeah,
basically kind of back in the summer, and it kind of immediately it's a $10 or no, it's a $5 cover price. It was selling for $15-$20 kind of right out of the gate. This is back kind of when Walmart stuff everybody was still kind of looking for it. This one was a little harder to find, and so pretty much the rest of the year there were a few sales here and there, and they were mostly in the $30 to $40 range. Nothing major, just hey, one pops up, it sells for $30, $40. Not really a big deal, nothing. Then all of a sudden, year end comes, and last week, a different show did a Hot 10 of 2019 and kind of ignored all logic when it comes to picking a book for 2019, and a book that the other host didn't even know existed, had no idea that it even was there. And they named it the hottest book of 2019. And boom, all of a sudden, a $30 to $40 book that had really never sold above that, all of a sudden was selling for over $100.
Yeah, you guys saw that comment that we put up earlier where listener Patrick said that he just sold this book on eBay for $125.
Yeah. So
good for you. Good for you.
Amen. Good for you, Patrick.
Yeah. Hey, if you can make the money, great. If you get paid, and great.
You have this book, sell it quick.
There was discussion on our Facebook page, a lot of discussion on our Facebook page about this. I don't have this. I don't buy any of the Walmart books or anything like that. I
saw the spider book, whatever it was.
The Spider Zero one.
Yeah, I still got that book back there.
Yeah. So there are no first appearances in this book. The cover is meh. Even though it's Jim Lee, it's meh.
It's a reprint, right? Of
I mean,
27.
It's meh. There is one, I think, one new story, maybe, or maybe no new stories. I'm not 100% sure. There is a reprint of Tech 27 that is apparently unedited, and that may be the only unedited version of that. But is that really something to collect? I don't know.
And it's not even rare because there's 3,000 plus copies.
Yeah. So this was the argument that was being brought up by some of the people that were trying to defend this book. I believe they were partially defending it. I don't think they were not wholeheartedly defending it.
Yeah.
Was that these were damaged. Many of these were damaged. Most of them have color rub, and which is fine. I get that. Okay. So there are a lot of books out there. Like, what is it? Solar 11 or 13 or whatever it is, the all black cover. Okay, yeah, that's not really that expensive of a book, but if you get a 9.8 in it, yeah, it's okay. So now it's $1,000 book.
The Thanos book that had an infamous rubber cut, Thanos 15.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of books out there that have condition issues. And yes, if you can get a 9.8 in those, even what is it, ASM 301, it's a condition sensitive book. Okay, I get it.
These were shrink wrapped, weren't they?
No, the DC ones aren't shrink wrapped. Okay. The Marvel ones, most of the Marvel ones are.
But here's the problem: is the ones that were selling for over $100 they were selling at VFN&M. They were not high grade, so it's not like people were paying a premium to get something that was really high grade that would be rare.
Come on, Ben. They put rare in the eBay description.
They're all listed as very fine near mint. So if that's what they're listed at, okay, so that's what everybody. So all of a sudden, a book that has a trash cover,
Yep.
is a reprint, is not rare. These are supposedly. I don't know how anybody actually. There was apparently a website that knows. I don't know how. That they're out there. How many they're out there, but. Even if they're correct by their calculations, there's over 3,500 of these, which is more than store variants. Most store variants are 3,000.
Yep.
And they sell for $10 to $15 at best.
So and the problem too is like, let's go back to your valuation, guy. So VF near mint's 125. So if I listen near mint, what's your price? 250, 300? I mean, what's the sky limit? I mean,
it's basically kind of what it sounds like. I mean, if you're trying to make the argument that, oh, this is a rare book because of condition, well, then the ones that are high grade, the ones that are near mint plus, they should command a massive premium. And that's not the one, and those are not the ones that are selling.
Yep. I'm gonna go to Walmart right after the show because I saw a stack of them.
That's the question. Here's the question, though. I've heard a lot of people say that you can still get them there. I've heard a lot of people say that they can't. And Kibby made a comment that there are 10 packs of DC. I apologize. I did remember reading that a couple days ago when this all came through that there are 10 packs of DC. But that, I guess that's the question: does anybody know if these are still out there? How recent have people seen them in the store? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And I'll tell you right now, I was joking, but I'm sure they're probably still on my Walmart, but they're probably beat to hell. I mean, they're pushing it back. It's like old stock of everything, right? 6 months it's like every back issue bin they're not bagged and boarded. So I mean, it's like,
well, if you can buy it for 10 and sell it for 100.
Yeah, I mean, definitely do it, dude. I mean,
the only reason this book jumped, the only reason this book jumped from $30 to $40 to over 100 is because one person said that it was the hottest book of 2019. That's the only reason, and that's where I have a problem with it, because it was not the hottest book of 2019. Most people don't even know about this book. His own co-host didn't even know anything about this book. If your co-host doesn't know anything about the book, how on earth could you say it's the hottest book of 2019? It doesn't make any sense.
With no, like you said, with no real data. I mean,
the data was there was some sales.
But I'm saying, with an out. I mean, I'm not saying that our algorithm is the best and our data is the best, but I mean, with the way we research stuff, I bet you we can make. I mean, I know you made a list last week of 2019. All the books, but I mean.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to know the data or how I compiled that list last week, because we didn't have a show last week, but how I compiled that list was I took every single list for 2019, every single list, put it through a spreadsheet, sorted everything, books that hit the list at least twice. I narrowed it down from there. Then I started going by which ones hit it more than twice. That's why Naomi ended up number one, is because Naomi was on the list 5 times.
That book was fire, dude.
It made the list 5 times.
Yep.
So that's why that one got there. Now, if they would have put this book on just a top 10 list like this week, hey, okay, fine. I don't have a problem with that. But when you're trying to state something is the best of the year in comics, and a comic store owner who does a weekly show has no idea what this book is, there's no way that could be the best book of the year. No way. It's not possible.
Nope.
So the only that's where it just screams ulterior motive. It just there's something not right with this. So if you're spending $125 on it, I'm sorry. This book will drop back. There's no doubt in my mind that you will lose money if you're spending that kind of money.
Look at this Facebook. You expect crazy. 2 months from now, it's going to be $10.
My guess is it's probably never going to go back to $10. It was a $30 to $40 book before, and it's not the easiest to find. But who's really wanting to spend $125 on this book?
I can spend $125 and get way better books, way better.
And you can make that argument on any book at any time. I mean, I have a hard time giving that argument because
I'll buy X-Men 266 Gambit for 125 and be happy.
I see that argument all the time. People are like, "Oh, why would you spend $700 on this variant? On this X-Force Venom variant?" Well, that's because it's rare and they want it, and that's what they'd rather. Yes, you might want a Silver Age key, but my argument is that there are billions of Silver Age keys out there, and so the spending this for that is kind of a weird argument.
I'm just saying, if I'm going to spend $125, I'm going to get an established key, not some book that doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess that's my thing. I mean, it's like you said. I mean, Campbell Lizard variants. I mean, another book. I mean, it's like the same thing. It's like Black Cat. Black Cat Campbell. I mean,
hey, if this had a great cover, then I would have a little more faith in it. But it's not. This is not even good Jim Lee art.
Nope.
So, anyways, enough of this. Enough of this book. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm trying to be honest and upfront this one only spiked because of what one person said.
Oh, well, it happens.
So,
yeah.
All right, number 2. This is a pretty interesting cover.
Yeah.
We got Tarot number 1. This is the David Nakayama 1 in 50 variant. First of all, how many stores are ordering 50 copies of Tarot? And this is not Tarot from Grimm Fairy Tales or any of those obscure publishers. This is Marvel. But
you're not telling me it's from Broadsword or is that
it's a pretty cool Infinity cover. I'm pretty. It's impressive. It's impressive. Infinity, especially how it's tilted and then it continues to tilt. It's pretty cool. So, anyways, this one for 1 in 50. This has jumped. It's only been live for what, 2 days?
Yep.
150 plus.
Wow.
Right now. Yeah. Boom.
But like you said, it's going to be on the rare factor, and I bet you this book just continues to climb once the real numbers come out. Because, like you said, how many people are ordering 50? It's almost like that Life of Captain Marvel that I sold. Not too many people are ordering that book. And it's going to be a hard 9.8 to get because it's not super dark, but it's not it's not an easy 9.8 probably.
Right. Yeah. So, I think this one, a lot of it has to do with just the cover art and rarity, but that's still a big jump.
Yep.
It's a beautiful cover. New cover artist to me. I didn't know of this cover artist to begin with. So,
Lebednik seems to like him. So,
yeah.
Before we get into number 1, thank all the listeners for listening. Thank all the people making comments. We appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button. My daughter's laughing at me.
Another thing I want to say real quick is for everybody out there, don't forget Monday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, we have Tales from the Flip Side. We have a special show coming up this week, our 100th episode. Please tune in if you get a chance. We also have a new show that has started on the Tales from the Flip Side channel. It is the foreign variant show, and I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to do this. So please go and check out the Comic Safari and join John Z and Matt Roybal. They got a great new show. Episode 1 is out. They did a really good job. It's been in the works for a bit. They've got some cool stuff coming. We're going to do our best to have key in on some really good shows that are out there. Obviously, that show being one of them. We also, like Ben C is saying in the comments, we will have a lot of giveaways for episode 100. So make sure you join in for that. Always fun to hopefully get something. And we got some fun things planned for the next year on Tales from the Flip Side. So hope to see you.
Yeah, get those subscribers up. I made a post on Instagram. If we can bust 1,000 subscribers by our show on Monday, I've got a CGC order come in. I will give away one of those books out of that CGC order.
Dang.
And there's some. I'm just gonna tell you up front. There's some good books in that order.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll give one of those away if we can bust that up to 1,000. So
yeah,
send it to your friends, get them to subscribe, whatever.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Love you guys.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to number 1 this week, and this is a bizarre book, super bizarre. It is the Star Wars number 1 blank variant that is actually a mixture of Star Wars and Thor on the inside. It is so bizarre. I can't even imagine how this happened. But apparently there's a wraparound on top of the blank that's all white. So on the blanks on this one, there's a white around the outside of it. And then there's the Star Wars blank, and then the air you open past the Star Wars blank, and there's the Thor number 1 cover.
Wow.
And then inside the book, the pages are both Star Wars and Thor. Yeah.
That's the ultimate foobar right there.
Oh, it's bizarre. Very, very bizarre.
And again, that Thor book was such a big book this week. It's a rollout of the new series, Donny Cates. They knew this was going to be a huge book.
Well, and Star Wars too. I mean, so it was a Star Wars number 1 and Thor number 1 came out the same week.
Yeah. Amazing mess up.
Yeah. Bizarre. So I checked sales. There was 8 sales, all from $60 to $80 for this, and only 1 current listing. Now, I don't know if that's changed since I wrote the list, but at the time there was only 1 current listing. So I'm not sure how rare these are. They may be. You remember when that Green Lantern was at number 8 or something like that with the banner that was messed up from Rebirth, and the first week there were several of them on eBay, and then all of a sudden gone, and I've yet to see him again. Paul's brother works at Marvel. Paul. It might just be Paul. Yeah. He might have did a Marvel tour or something like that.
He dropped a little Paul's problem fairy dust on Marvel as he.
Seaborn. Yeah, Joe Doc said the Family Matters variant. Yeah. So the first week there were several of them for sale, and then they just disappeared. They were gone. So initially everybody kind of thought, oh, maybe they're not that rare, and now you cannot find that book. Yeah. I don't know if this one is like that.
I think I got the regular cover here. Is it Leia and Luke and Lando and R2 and CP3O on it?
On the regular, yes, I believe so.
Yeah. Okay. So I got the book, but this one, the one I scan in is actually the right book. It's not a mix match of.
No, I mean the air looks like this. I mean, it's just a blank Star Wars cover. But once you open that first page, or once you go past the blank, it's supposed to have the Star Wars number 1 cover there, but instead it's got Thor number 1. So
are they seeing Thor? Are they seeing the vice versa? Is there a Thor blank variant that has Star Wars in it?
I do not know if I don't think there is a Thor blank variant.
Which makes this mess up even worse.
Yeah, I don't know how it happened. I mean, and I made this comment in the article over at Comic Book Invest, and how did that? I mean, that guy had to have lost his job, right?
Because the quality. So my mom worked in printing for a while. I mean, so basically what they're doing, they run their print, and basically at the end of the day, they're going to sit there, and once they go to staple, right? I mean, all the sheets are together because they run it on a press, and then boom, and then they staple it. But like you said, somebody has to go through the books. I mean, I bet you what's happening. They're printing so many covers and stuff. Nobody's looking through the stuff, and they're just looking at the front, like, okay, flipping through a couple pages, and it's people who aren't associated with the product, like, okay, it looks decent, and just throwing it on the,
Yeah, just a completely bizarre book. I don't even know how something like that would happen, especially in this day and age. But they could have done it on purpose, just to create more buzz. Who knows?
That wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me either. And honestly, if they did it, I'd be okay with it. I prefer to. I wish there were books out there that were super rare that you can kind of have chase for.
Yeah.
But I'd rather do that than have 48 store variants, and 1 in 10,000 variants are not even. They're not even rare.
to try and get those Disney Plus members back.
Right. So if you do see a blank Star Wars out there, open that front cover up, look to see if it's Thor. If it is, buy it.
Then rip the cover off, and then
Yes. So amazing, kind of like that perfect storm, like you said. It's Star Wars and the Thor book both coming out this week. We always know what happens when those perfect storms hit. Big money. So
maybe it's just a preview that in the next Star Wars movie, maybe Thor is going to show up in Star Wars.
Kevin Feige didn't Kevin Feige get named as some type of person that's doing Star Wars stuff now? So I think you might be onto something there, Ben.
Who knows?
Yeah. So, but before we go, I want to go back and let everybody know. Make sure you guys go check out comicbookinvest.com. Of course, the home of the top 10 list every week. But as we usually do, we want to talk about the CBSI variants.
Before you do that, make sure when you go to the CBSI website, you've got to read Ben C's The Good, Bad, the Ugly. It is the best article that we've had in a long time. Yep. It's brilliant. It's a complete recap of the entire decade. It's just very, very well done. It will open your eyes and give you lots and lots of information about where comics have come from in the last 10 years.
Somebody in the comments put it's a roller coaster ride of emotions.
Oh, it's magnificent. It's absolutely perfect.
Yes. And not only that, please make sure you're going there and reading these articles. There's some great people over there writing some amazing articles. And without giving too much away about what's coming up with FlipSide the next year, we hope to have a lot of these writers on. So please go check it out. While you're there, if you guys want to check out some of the CBSI variants, it's very easy to do. Just click on the tab and there you go. You got a lot of beautiful homage covers. The one that we've been talking about for a while now is the Over Ropes #1 variant for all of those WWF WrestleMania fans, as well as early NES and Nintendo homages. This is an amazing cover. So go out and pick yourself up one. And remember, $12 is a great price for this book. That there's only, I believe, 125 copies that are out there, and $1 for every $12 you spend on this book is going to go to charity, as we do with every CBSI variant. So make sure you go copy some really cool homage covers. Make sure you're reading the articles over at comicbookinvest.com. As well as the top 10 and why you're here, or your hot 10 and why you're here. So we appreciate you guys, and we hope to see you guys on FlipSide this upcoming Monday, special episode 100. And with that, we are out of here.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Bye, guys.